topsoil right beside here so that I can start burying these, because it's supposed to get quite cold. In the next, actually tomorrow, I think the daytime high is supposed to be -10. So I'll just try and strip this topsoil off. Make a dirt patch why I left it here and the owner wants it gone, so. Well, it's got a cold start to the excavator. Yeah. I wish there was a way to turn on the glow plugs other than when the key is in the on position. Is that cold start for you? While I let this thing warm up, I'm gonna go have my lunch. Well, I got the excavator a little bit warmed up here. It's not warm in the cab. Some idiot forgot to turn the heater on. I'll just go over here now and start digging a hole. See how it goes. Yes, I need to put shims in the bucket and everything over there, all the linkages. But I need a good place to take it apart. And I don't got a heated shop yet. We're getting one built on the farm. It's supposed to be put up in September. But they showed up in like second week in November after we got a ton of rain and the ground froze and thawed and it's super soft, so we said no, wait till it freezes. But I don't think we're getting it finished this year, that's for sure. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get into this cut, hug the left side, so when I dig this hole, it'll I can throw the dirt farther to the left. But I got all the topsoil all the way down to the very top of the clay. That way I can, doesn't matter if I mix this in. going to be in here. Gonna take it easy for the first little bit, little buckets. Hydraulics aren't completely warmed up yet. Interesting layer of dirt there. That's pretty brown. I wish I would have cleaned my window. Got dirty on the transport over here, I guess. The ground is a lot warmer than the air. It's steaming. About 7 months ago, 6 months ago, right first thing in the spring, trying to use it, the turbo was seized up. A piece of rust scale came off the housing somewhere inside and wedged itself between the turbine and the housing. So I took the turbo off, took it apart as best I could, sprayed penetrating fluid in it, couldn't get it to spin. I had just changed all the pilot lines for the controls, so I didn't know if I hooked something up wrong, where it was double acting the valve or something and loading the engine too much. But I took it apart, managed to get a big chunk of rust scale out, and then the turbo started to spin again. The wastegate is stuck though, 100%. So I set it halfway in the middle. So not all of the gases are getting forced into the turbo, so I don't overspin it. So I got a little bit of turbo, I don't got very much though. I just can't afford a new one. $7,000 for that tiny little turbo. So it works right now, and I'll just keep using it how it is. temperature gauge stopped working. Because it shows full cold. Oh, there's a bigger rock. Probably not big, just there's a rock. My temperature gauge shows full cold. And I'm getting good heat out of the fan heater, so it's either the gauge is screwed or the sensor is screwed, but it doesn't have the light on. I'll be the first one to admit I'm not the best excavator operator. I can definitely do better on a grader and a track loader. But need an excavator to do a load of jobs, so I did invest in one. Just as a reminder, I did get the lines located, and there is no lines on this property at all. Anytime you go and start digging, free service to use, you might as well use it. A lot easier and cheaper. Could end your entire career. If there's a pipeline going through here and I magically dug in the exact spot of the pipeline, which I know where they all are around here, so I knew there was none, but I didn't know if there was any gas lines, residential gas lines, because there's a couple farms. And a couple years ago, I don't know if you guys remember, just down to the south of me, I did a bunch of clearing. I don't even know if I was doing videos yet, but just to the south of me I did a bunch of clearing, and I had a drive pressure sensor on my track loader fail. I was just a mile, not even a mile, half a mile south of me right now. Now I'm feeling like I'm getting into the rocks. So since that is the case, yeah, those are big rocks. Since that's the case, I'll just stop digging at that depth, because I don't want to be bringing them up. Funny because those rocks start right at the 8.5-foot mark where the frost can't go down to push it up. Well, it can, but it doesn't happen all that often. Usually our frost stays around that 8.5 feet. One year it got down to 13 feet. Of course, I don't run my equipment in the frost. I don't do dirt work in the wintertime. I just keep it for the fall. Lots of companies charge 30% extra on their rate. Just about finished this hole for as big as I want to make it. This is kind of like a test for how much material I have. I want to know how big of a hole I have to make. So I dug this one bigger than I think I needed it to be. So that I know how small I can make them. Because I'll admit, this took way too long. Outside. do here, I gotta try and shed off this pile a little bit to fill up that hole. I messed up my earmuffs. But what I'll do first is I'll just push this in. Be dusty, but ash. Going to be a lot of air that's in there in the trees. So when I get this dirt and stuff on top of it and then drive on it a bunch with the loader, it should squish this down a little bit more. But still, there was quite a bit of material to get buried. Definitely more than I thought it was going to be. Glad I dug the big hole. This side will be the more full side anyways, just because there's more of a pile. There's 3 burn piles, and the one on my left here, that was probably the ugly one with the most dirt and just stuff that didn't burn. And the one that was on my right, it burnt a lot better. But there was still a burn pile right in the middle, but it was more spread out. As you can see right there, there's not nearly as much material in the middle. So that's something I'll have to keep in mind for the next ones. Next times I make the pile from the burn more even, so it's not a big bump, a big pile on one side, and make it into a row. The ground is a little bit soft and sticky here. It's kind of in a low spot. If I turn you around, that's a big slough. You can see the ruts that I left right there. My track loader made real bad ones. So I didn't take as much topsoil off my track loader because I didn't want to agitate it. I didn't know how soft it was going to be. Figured I'd just make do. I can always just scrape some of this ash and stuff and throw it on top of this dirt first. What I should have done to my bucket before I started doing this is I should have brought my little sprayer with diesel in it and then just dieseled down the bucket and then nothing would stick to it. But, you know, a guy didn't even bring a shovel today to clean out the tracks either, so. Last night, all I did was get home and put fuel in my slip tank and went at supper. Get here in the dark, leave in the dark, get home in the dark. So there's not really much time or effort to really want to do much. I'll have to do the same thing, go down about 8.5 feet. There might not be rocks in this spot because if it's in a low lying, like a water run, who knows how many thousands of years what's happened. But I have the idea of the ripper, or not the ripper, the thumb. That top crossbar is about 8.5 feet. One with the gussets welded to it. So if that top bar with my bucket flat, we're almost at 8.5 feet. Felt the rock yet, so I'll probably just have to use that as a gauge for my depth. But it's just going to be more monotonous digging like this, so I'll bring you back when something changes. Well, the GoPro battery's got 1% left for some reason and I barely used it. Maybe it's time for new ones or a new GoPro, but that pile's still smoldering. And I got this hole dug. I don't know how well you can see it, the window's pretty dirty. But yeah, this hole's done. Now I'm gonna go over there at the edge of the slough and peel in some of those trees and stuff that was too far into the squishy ground for my track loader. I'll just peel those in, and that way when I come with my track loader I'll be able to just push it over here into this hole. but it is real squishy. When I say real squishy, I mean I just left some pretty nasty ruts with this thing. Look at all that mud that came out of the tracks. And some idiot didn't bring a shovel. Well, there is so much topsoil here. I dug a couple buckets at the beginning and I was like, I don't want to waste all of it. Like, look at all of it. I hit one little patch of like gumbo clay, but I already have that pile on the end that's all solid topsoil. Since it's getting dark and the lights on this thing suck, I'm just gonna strip this topsoil, keep it off to the side. Tomorrow I'll come with my track loader and push it all to the end. Try and save it and use it, because there's gonna be a lot of dirt taken out of this one. This is really a long one. Probably where I'm gonna leave you off today. I'll just let the digging go until the battery dies.